Okay, hi everyone. It's Ron McKinney with Potted a Photo. We're through the jury stages of our photo competition for this year, and so we're going to be critiquing some of the images that some of our people who participate in the competition were willing to put up here, so we can do it like a public critique as best that I can, based on some of what the jury had to say about these as well for some of these. Let's see. The first thing I want to say is I want to kind of give you an idea of what the jury is like. We often have, we usually have two, somewhat prominent dance photographers, and then we usually have two professional dancers, and then somebody else who's associated with our organization, and so it's going to be like different every year, and we're going to have different people every year. So there are some images that were, for example, that were submitted, I think, in the last competition as opposed to the first one. Maybe it was the first competition, I'm not sure, but they were received well, but they didn't make top 15, whereas this time, maybe those did make top 15. So it's going to really vary, according to the jury, because it's very subjective. The instructions that I give the jury members is simply, this is just, don't, just how impactful is the image to you? What, do you stop and look at it and appreciate it, or is it something you just gloss over, move on to the next one? I don't want it to be focused just on the technical aspects of a photograph, because art is not just technical. It's you're there to sometimes tell a story or just get some kind of get something across, and the only way to do that is for it to be impactful, for the viewer, and it's going to impact one person differently than it might impact another. And so, like when somebody does really well or doesn't do very well in a photo competition, that doesn't mean it's going to be the same in the next competition, because a different set of eyes, minds, experiences, perceptions are going to look at it differently every time. So let me see. So I was going to start with some images by Brian, but he's not here yet. I don't know if he's going to be joining us or not, but I'm going to go ahead and start the share screening so we can see this. And we can start seeing the images. And there it is. Okay, so share screen. And here we go. Okay, so now I'm over here. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this open now. Let me see, bear with me for a minute. I have to change to put the chat up. There we go. So I'm going to put it there. Can you guys, somebody just put up some chat and just say hi there? I just want to be sure that's working just fine. And let me get the participants up. Oh, I don't think I have it on. Okay, so there's always something that has to happen for me to turn it on that just began recently. Let me see. Chat, show chat previews. I'm presuming that's the case because I can see that nobody has chatted yet. And there was something I had to do one time to allow people to chat, which doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. Go over here. Okay, there it is. Panelists can chat with everyone. Attendees can chat with everyone. Okay, now go ahead and put up somebody there we go. So now we've got you guys going there. Perfect. Thanks for jumping on there. Very good. Okay, you can see the image. And actually, this is Brian Balloon's image. I'm gonna start with I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up the opposite way. And so let's see if Stacy is here. And Stacy, I don't think she was planning to be here. So we'll just go ahead and start with her. And so let me start. She put in this series here for me to look at. And feel free to like ask questions on the chat, you know, if you have any questions. But so here is her pictures here. This is one. She put in 5 images, 2, 3, 4. I thought there was 5. No, I guess there was just 4. Okay, so there's 4 images here in her series. A series consists of anywhere from 4 to 7 images, and there needs to be some kind of connection between them. You know, I also give the, you know, the people who participate in the series and the option to like tell us a little bit about the series, so you know, when the jury is looking at them, they have some sense of like what they're trying to get across with this one here. And so, you know, this very first image right here is you know, that we're looking at is, you know, just a really, you know, a cute girl in a, you know, in a great big dress that's, you know, and she's kind of just like covered in it. And this image, I would think, would do by itself very well in the children's category. It's fun, it's different, it's, you know, the thing that would hold it back though is that there's no dance in this, you know, like you can sit here and look at it and you see a beautiful picture. I mean, if I was this kid's mom, I would want this to be printed large in my room, just in our house, just because of that, you know. Another really lovely picture here. The lighting is exquisite. You know, she's got the background. It's very nice, you know, like, you know, all the focus goes right onto the dancer in this really beautiful skirt that she's wearing. And you can just tell that this young dancer is very comfortable and just really enjoying this shoot. And I think she's just telling her, just, you know, like spin around here and, you know, let your hair go up. And so these are really, really beautiful pictures. Now, where the challenge is, you know, for a photo competition is that skirt just swallows her up and you don't see the dance part of it. You know, so like when we've gotten to, you know, when these images have come up to like the finalists, you know, they'll look at them and they'll say, wow, this is really, really good stuff, you know, but where's the dance in it? You know, like here, she's clearly doing a leap, you know, but you don't really see much of her. I mean, you don't even actually see her face in the shot. You barely see the ends of her feet. And you would think that you would want her feet pointed, but that's a really good thing, is that if this was a pre-professional dancer and her feet were supposed to be pointed and they weren't, you know, then that would actually work against them. Whereas somebody who is this young, you know, we tend to not really pay that much attention to technique and rather just focus on the image itself. But if this was a pre-professional dancer, there is a very strong focus on their technique as well, because this is, you know, a very high-end dance photography competition. And you know, we just don't want somebody with a sickled foot, you know, like being in the top 15 when they have the ability to not have a sickled foot. And we would think that a pre-professional dancer would be able to do that. Okay, so while these are absolutely gorgeous images, it's just not enough of a focus, I think, on dance to do well. And so this, you know, I would think that this probably, you know, is a finalist, you know, just based on the photography itself. And of course, I can't give away, you know, which of these images made it into the top 15. But that's what would hold it back in this one here in our competition. Okay. All right, we're going to move up to Eric Timmerman. Let's see if he's in here. There he is. Eric, I'm gonna bring you in as a panelist. So if you want to, I think you'll be able to talk to me now. So feel free to talk if you'd like. And we are going to go into your images now. I'm going to start with this one right here. And I'm just going to check and see, are you able to talk to me? Are you on?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Let me see.
Yep.
I got to turn up my speaker. So there we go.
All right.
So I remember when I first saw this image right here, and because I did a shoot once at which university was it? At university in Houston. And I got a couple of baseball players and an umpire, and I got like some dancers, and the idea is that they were doing a soda cha into second base, sort of like what you have going on right here. And the second baseman, was like looking up at this dancer coming in, and we had black eye on her. It was really a fun shot, and that's what it immediately reminded me of. And this is really a fun thing. Is this like a brother, sister, or boyfriend, girlfriend?
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah. This is a really, really cool idea. So her technique looks great. His tackling technique, needs a little bit of work, over him like that. Yeah. But you did a really good, everything looks good here. The lighting looks good, but there's one thing that's just going to knock this image out. And do you have an idea what that is?
Face, seeing her face.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know if the wind was blowing really hard in that direction, because it's really odd that she would be going in the direction that she's going and the hair would be ahead of her. I don't even know how that happened.
It was very, very windy and bright day. Sun was at my back. She is more comfortable jumping with the right. So we went that direction. And that's the one thing that I really regret is could we have done something different with that wind?
Yeah. I think, and that's what they are. They're a righty or a lefty, and this is exactly the way you would want to do it. But I think with the wind, the way that it was, I would have told her to run the other way anyway, even though she would have, I don't know, been turned away from us, just to have the face in the shot.
Yeah.
But this is an amazing idea. And I think if you have a chance to do it again, and to be honest, I think you did a fabulous job, because shooting, this looks like a midday shoot, and that's the hardest time to shoot, but this looks really good.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now we're going to move down to the next one. And I believe this was a finalist image. I don't know if the top one was or not, but I believe this was a finalist image. Is that correct?
No, neither one of them I don't think made the finalist.
Oh, okay.
But I know there were some other ones very similar to this that were great.
Yeah. There were a few people who put in these high school competitions ones, and here's the thing about this one, okay? The problem is the weakest link will bring you down. And it's not that they're weak, but that their timing was just off.
Yeah.
And so you see all these legs over here that are absolutely perfect. And then, your eyes just go right to those legs in the back that are imperfect. And
gotcha.
And those are the ones that'll just automatically just knock it out.
Yeah.
And I don't really have an answer for you on this. I think you just have to, keep hoping for the day that, that everybody hits the timing perfect. And I think there's shots in the competition where they actually did do that, where like all their legs perfect like that. But other than that, this actually is, it's a great performance shot. I love, like you can see them all screaming, and, their mouths open or whatever. It's kind of funny because like when I shoot with a dancer, sometimes I say, okay, give me some, give me something here, give me attitude or something. And they all just look at me and I say, come on, I see you in your performance. You do it all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so now next up we have a series, okay? And in this series, it's going to be a rain session series. Let's see, is there 7? Okay, so there's 6 images in this rain session. Let's see, and we start right here. Okay, so, you know, to me, one of the challenges is distinguishing yourself, you know, with these sessions here. And, you know, because so many people are doing rain sessions now, and what you want to be able to do is be able to say one that says, you know, somebody looks at it and they said, oh, that's an Eric Timmerman shot right there. And when you do that, then you know that you're like distinguishing yourself, you know, from all the others, you know, that are doing the rain session. And these are all very good, you know, shots right here. I love that you're throwing the water, you know, catching the foot going up, you know, the double hair flip. You know, all these are really good images. You know, if I had a parent, if I had a dancer, I'd want them to come to you and get these shots here, you know, but in a photo competition, they're just not going to stand out enough. You know, like I think you have to think, you know, and maybe you can do that this year, like say, okay, these are my normal shots, you know, these are the ones that I sell to my clients or whatever. But now what can I do to take them like to another level and somehow make them more artistic, you know, and a good start, like notice this one, he's got the white umbrella up there with the green Leo, but watch this one here. This one captures my eye. She's got a green umbrella, and you can see a little bit of, you know, the same color of green in her Leo there. You know, and that's kind of like the start. Now you're starting to add some, you know, like art style to it, you know, where you know, it's a little bit different. You're using the umbrella. And so that's really, you know, my suggestion to you is bring in some dancers where it's not them, you know, doing a paid shoot. And what you do is you just have fun with it and just try and create like artistic images and do different things with your lighting, or, you know, do things with throwing the water or whatever it might be, you know, just play around and see what you can come up with. And I think you'll do a lot better.
Okay. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you.
You betcha. Okay. I'm gonna hopefully if I can figure out how to do this. Let's see. I think I have to have another one for panelists. I'm going up on top. Oh, there they are. Okay, so I'm going to move you on down and change you back to an attendee. And now we're going to go up to the next one, and let's see who we have here. We've got Wayne here. Okay, so let me go find Wayne. I know he's in here. There you are, Wayne. I'm going to move you up. And did I do it? There we go. Okay. Okay, so Wayne, are you able to hear me? Are you able to talk? You may not be able to. You may not be set up for that. And I don't hear anything, but we'll go ahead and get started with him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go, Wayne. Good job.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to start with this image right here. And this image is a finalist, correct?
It might be. Yes, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is too. And you did something really, really different. I mean, there, you know, we see this is an underwater shot. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I don't understand what the heck is going on here. Like you have one of those cloth things that she's inside or something?
Correct. She's in a spandex tube.
Well, you see, this is what I'm talking about, you know, just like going back to what I was talking about with Eric, is that, you know, like I don't know, you know, I've seen a lot of underwater shots, and I don't know that I've seen one, you know, with the spandex tube, and then, you know, you just look at the lighting, you know, first the lighting on her face, okay, and then you have
Yeah.
the lighting coming in on the side, you know, that like outlines her body in this thing. And,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why this image, you know, is as good as it is. And that's why, you know, it was a finalist. And, you know, it's sort of like, I would really love to give you some feedback on how to improve this image, but it's one of these things where it's like, I don't know, man, this is pretty good. And I know it did quite well in the competition. So, you know, that kind of makes sense. I can't help you here, Wayne.
Okay. Okay. Well,
All I can do is applaud this one.
well, thank you.
But let's
Yeah.
move on over to your performance one, and this one I can help with.
Okay.
So shooting from the wings is always kind of a cool look, because, you know, like we're so used to seeing the shots from, you know, from the front, you know, from the back of the, you know, hall, shooting the front of the stage and back. And so whenever we get to see these, it's really cool. And whenever we get to capture a moment like this, where, you know, this dancer is, you know, has this this kind of mask on, or I don't know, maybe it's could be I guess it probably is yeah, because look at the way the eyes are. Yeah, so that's makeup there to make her look, you know, like whatever she is, a cat or lion or something. Excuse me. But, you know, like we're going to look at the overall image, and like that hand coming in. I mean, this is a performance, you know, and that's just the way it works. You know, the hand coming in from the side, that's just from nowhere. And then the little girls in the yellow dress that we're getting in the backside, and they're not really like, you know, we don't really know what they're doing, but they're not really like adding to the picture. In other words, what's really compelling is that first girl, you know, kind of crouching down, looking off to the side, and even the girl behind her, you know, is a very interesting shot. And it's all, you know, the truth is, it's all a matter of timing. It's a matter of luck, you know, on these performance shots, especially with children. You know, but the hand coming from the end is just distracting. And then the girls over to the side. So again, this is an amazing picture. I know that the parent of that girl probably has this picture printed, but, you know, in terms of a photo competition, and it's our competition is getting tough now, you know, with the performances. It's part of it's luck, you know. It's you know, like the timing of the shot with what they're doing, especially with the little ones.
Yeah,
So
I understand. Yeah. Yep. That said, I could easily Photoshop that, but then it has to go into the art category.
yeah, exactly. You know,
So
but the
so
only
it
thing
is.
you'd be
Yeah.
photoshopping is the hand. And, you know, and I still think, I'm afraid that the girls were just like, unless you like Photoshop them out of the picture too.
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, if you did that, then we would be looking at them just for their dance, and their dance still is not like stand out enough for it to score really highly, you know.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's a really good image. But that's what's missing on it from the competition side.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks.
we're gonna move to this one here, and so it's another underwater image. It's a maternity shoot. And, you know, and you're bringing in cloth and or fabric, and you know, it just adds to the interest level, you know, like her hands being so near the water at the top, you know, and the reflection that you're getting, you know, above that. Her feet are perfect. You know, it's just another really good image. You know, the lighting is completely different from the lighting on the last one that you put in there. And I don't know. I think probably with a maternity shot, that's probably very appropriate. You know what I mean? Because you want to really show the bump.
Yeah. That's, yeah, this is obviously part of a series. I only put in one series, and it was 5 or 6 images of this particular dancer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it did not make the final, the finals or whatever. He did not get selected. It's like, okay. So maybe other images were weaker
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, I'd had to see the rest of the series because this one by itself, I think would have made it, but it may be the other ones, may have brought it down. So I can't really say because I don't see them here.
Right. I didn't send all of them over.
Yeah. And I appreciate
Okay.
that. Okay, let's move over to the studio now. And so this is I'm going to guess this did not make finalists. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'll tell you what I would have done with this. And that is that I would have put this in the fine art category instead of studio, just because, when you're doing studio, you're up against, like some incredible lighting and stuff. And this is very like this lighting is very artistic, shall we say, and so in the fine art, it would have been looked at differently than it's being looked at, in studio. Andrew Bowen just said one thought on the underwater image. The kicker is a touch bright, taking your attention away from her face. And the brightest part is that wedge shape on the camera left. But yeah. Okay.
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Oh, Brian, you're here. Okay, good. We'll be getting your images pretty soon. Okay. So again, I think this is an image. This is a really good, because some people don't understand, like, what is fine art? And it's really hard to explain. Well, this is fine art, because it's not a traditional portrait. And it doesn't mean that every shot in the studio category has to be a traditional portrait shoot. That's not the case at all. But when you start going off as much as this one is, we're really just seeing form, and we're, seeing less, it's really kind of like about that really cool lighting, on the fabric, then I think it goes into fine art. And this, you may want to consider putting it in for next year in fine art, or something.
Okay. I will. Yeah.
Yeah. And being in fine art, then you can even play with it even more.
Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to switch over to this one here, a teen category. And do did this one make a finalist?
It did. Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Black and white, to me, it's so hard to do so well. And this looks really great. For me, I mean, some people, black and white's so easy, but not for me. But this is, it's a beautiful dance image, and it's just kind of like a cool setting. I like the dichotomy of, somebody being in a tutu, and a white tutu, and in this kind of like rustic setting, and being on this beam, and so this is, like now, like what I'm wondering is I look at this, is what would take it from being a finalist to a top 15, and that's a really difficult question to answer, because this is a really good image that potentially could be top 15, if not this year, another year, because
Sure.
lighting is really nice. I love the shadow on her. She's very focused, I like that. Like to be honest, like when we see on location shots, we sit here and we say, okay, are they using the location, or is the location a distraction or whatever? And here you're using the location, and it works really well. So again, I don't have really a whole lot to say, but again, that's not surprising, considering this was a finalist image, and it did really well, because this is a really good image.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you
All
for your
right.
feedback. Appreciate it.
Okay, Wayne, that's going to be it for you. So we're going to
Okay.
drop you out of here. Thanks for participating. I mean,
Oh,
people are really going to be helped by this. So that was really nice.
well,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. We'll see you. Okay. Next up is Paul Sasso. I think he's here. Let me pull him up. There you are. Okay. Whoops, wrong one. Let's go here. There you are. Okay. Okay, Paul, you should be joining us here in just a moment. Let's see if you can talk. Maybe I need to do it again. Let's try it again. I'm sitting here I'm watching myself do this, and he's not being promoted. Try it one more time. I don't know. It's not letting me promote you for some reason, Paul. I don't know what's going on. Can you jump on the chat box and let me just see if you're in there? Just say hi or something. I'm going to come back to Paul. Maybe something's happening with him or something. Okay. Well, he's here. Okay, he's in listening mode. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through Paul's stuff here. Okay, and here's a fine arts one. And so here we are. And so this is, like a beautiful image. I love the background that you kind of like added to this, the texture, the colors. And so your challenge here on this image here is really like, it's really going to be one of like, what do people, someone might be bothered by, we can't see her face. Another person might not be bothered by that. The hair flying, I think, adds to the image. But for me, just, her hands up in the 5th position and just kind of like, we're just not seeing her face enough. I actually don't think they're being blocked by the face. I don't know if she's just turned away a little bit or something, but we just don't see the face. And so that's really like, to me, the thing that's going against it. It also looks to me like the texture is over like her dress, so she doesn't like really pop out from it. And that might, obviously that's intentional, but I don't know how much that helped it, because she becomes a little bit more transparent, if you will, as opposed to, the focus totally on the dancer. So, this one may have made a finalist, and because it's a very good image. But those are the things that are like kind of jumping out to me. The lighting is very good. Like this is more of an even lighting, which works really well in this case. You can always say, oh, let me try some, more edgy lighting. And does that make it better? Well, for some it does, and some it doesn't. So go ahead and just let me know if you have any questions in the chat as I go along. Okay, so here's another fine art one. And I have nothing to say about this. This is yeah, exactly. Andrew Bowen just put it exactly how it is. That's just incredible. How long did it take you to put that together, Paul? Because this is not a 20-minute job. I'd imagine it took you at least 8 hours. Yeah, hours. He's not going to say how many. Well, let me tell you something. It was well worth it. This image obviously is a finalist, and was very well received. So, as you can tell, I've got nothing to say about this one here. You know, the truth is when you do something like this, there's 1,000 other ways you could do it. Would it make it better? I can't say. This is pretty, you know, just like everybody else has said, just fabulous as it is. So we're going to move on over to preteen. And here we have another beautiful image. We've got like you know, like I love how the colors coordinate here. We've got like movement in here. I'd say probably she was set with her feet maybe, and she just did a little twist to get her hair flying like that. And you know, I love everything about this. You know, man, I really try to be helpful, but there are times I just don't have a lot that I can say that, you know, would necessarily improve an image. You know, when I critique images, one of the things I really try to do is not say, okay, well, how would I have done it? Because it's not about me, it's about you and what your style and your brand is. And I just, this image, I would be very proud of this image. I would be very happy. And I can imagine this is printed large there. And I'm sure this is another, you know, finalist image, and how far it went really just went up to the jury, because this is, you know, very good technique for a young dancer. Everything looks good. This has a chance of doing really well. Okay, now we're going to move over to the studio category, and good luck in the studio category. Holy cow, we've got some crazy good images here. So this one here is very gorgeous. The technique is very good. It really comes down then to how you lit the dancer. The costume is beautiful. You know, what she's wearing on her head is just absolutely beautiful. Everything's here. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be another, you know, had to be another finalist image. The challenge in this category is that it was just really, really good this year. And what could you have done differently? It's hard to say, because, you know, you could have lit her differently. Would that have made it better? Possibly. Would have made it worse? Possibly too. Yeah, it did not make it. Oh, wow. That is a tough category, because this is really a beautiful image. But that tells you a lot about how difficult the studio category was this year. Because this is a beautiful image. You know, I think maybe if I would have done anything differently, I would have just made it not so evenly lit. You know, and that's kind of a challenge when they're looking forward like this. But I just would have played with the lighting on this. And of course, it's a challenge too, because of what she's wearing, and you know, especially on her head, because all that needs to be lit to be, you know, shown the way that it is. So, you know, this is just, you know, something that you just have to play around with. Okay, let me move on. And we have one more image by Paul, and that's this one here. And this is another, like, what is this from? Paul, are you on there that you can answer this? Is this like a Nutcracker thing, or is this, I don't even know. Is this Arabian? But it's really different Arabian from what I've seen. Asian dance company. Okay. Well, this is, you know, like really interesting again. You know, they're mirroring themselves pretty good. Yeah, I knew it was two different dancers. They're mirroring themselves pretty good. You know, the costuming is really beautiful. And so this is another one of those images where it can do really well one year, depending on who's looking at it. And it can still do well another year, but maybe not as well, because, you know, this is really beautiful. You've kind of got to light it the way that you did, you know, like there is directional light with a little bit of shadow on the camera side, which is, you know, something I really like. And you can see their faces lit really well. But you have to have, you know, this side lit because of their costume and being able to see everything. So, you know, when you give me these images, not a whole lot that I can say or do, because these are pretty good. And it's just really a matter of how they're received by the jury. So great job, Paul. I love seeing your work. And we are now going to move on to James Porter. Let me see if James is in here. Yes, he is. All right. Let's see if it works this time. I don't know if this thing is working now. Oh, wait a minute. I think it went. Yeah, there he is. Okay, I can't, looks like James, I can see your microphone's off, your video's off. So I don't know if you can turn your, there you go, your mic's on now. How you doing, James?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very good. Thanks for joining us. So is this, because I know you had several images that made finalists. Is this one of them?
Well, I only submitted this one image, and this was a finalist.
Okay. And you know, this is understandable why. It's great technique. You know, it's an interesting, you know, like potted up position. And you know, I just love this thing. Your lighting here is very good. You have, like, one of the challenges in doing two dancers is lighting both their faces, you know, and obviously when their faces are in the direction that they are, you know, you're able to do that, but it works, you know, really well in this image. And I think that if I did anything differently here, I would add another light behind them, or to camera left at least, that would light her leg, you know, coming up, just so, you know, you just see that a little bit better. And you know, was this shot just with one light?
Yes, it was overhead to the camera right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's something to be said for, you know, like one light, you know, it's really beautiful, but you know, I think we always have to think about what's going to go in the shadows, you know, with the one light. And to me, it's like, you know, like, obviously this is something that I'd want printed, you know, if it was one of my kids here, but for a photo comp, I think you'd want to get that leg lit up as well. That's the only difference there. So, but we'll see how you did, right, James?
Right. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll see you in Chicago.
All right. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, moving right on up. We've got Wendy here. Let's see. Okay, we're going to start with this one here. And let me go find her. Let's see. If somebody is in here and they have to leave or something, let me know and I can promote you real quick. Okay, just let me know in the conversation. Okay, Wendy, you're up. You've got your video off, you got your mic off. If you can turn your mic on at least, that would be great. There you go. Okay, how you doing, Wendy?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good.
Thanks for doing this. I'm loving the hearing your feedback on everything. It's really
well, thanks for doing it too, because if you guys weren't brave enough to let me do it publicly, you know, like, so many people are going to really benefit from this. So that was really nice.
Ron, I swear to God, it was like midnight on the very last day and I wasn't going to put anything in it. And then I was like, fine, I'm just going to send some stuff.
Well, I'm glad you did, because you put in some really beautiful images.
Thank you.
So let's start with this one here. And so this is in the preteen category. I'm presuming this is probably like at a studio or something, or what? I mean, at a dance school? Or where is this?
Yeah, it's actually at the dance studio on the Marley floor.
And then they have an open window behind her.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you add any lighting, or is this just all natural lighting?
It's I might have had a reflector on her face to bring in the light. And there was like, obviously, like the gaffer tape on the Marley floor. So I just cleaned up the floor.
Yeah. Well, this is like to me, this is like the lighting is just ethereal, you know, it's just beautiful. It's you know, and that's what I love about like having reflected natural light, because that's what this is. It's reflecting off the ground and into the image. And it just looks exquisite. And so, you know, you know, like parts of her, you know, tutu is a little, you know, being white is going to be blown out just a little bit, but just barely, if anything. I mean, you've pretty much kept all the texture in there. And you just have a beautiful expression on her. I think if I would have changed anything, I would have turned her head ever so slightly towards the camera to get both eyes in, and possibly shot just a smidge lower just to get a little bit more of the face in the shot, because, you know, to me, that's like the biggest part of this. I mean, I'm sure this is a finalist. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a finalist.
Yeah. So we'll see how well it goes, but and I'm sure it did well. But that's really the only change I would have done on this. That's very nice. Okay, we're gonna move over to the next one. And this is in a studio category. And this is really what I'm talking about, where you know, doing things that are different, because that's what will get you like get you some attention here is you know, like you just give them a block and say, hey, what can we do with this? And they'll suddenly go upside down and put a leg here and a hand there and say, I'm going to go with my straight leg here, and it just looks amazing. And then your job is to light it and shoot it the right angle and make it look beautiful. And you did that. And so I presume this is another finalist, correct?
Yeah, this was a finalist.
Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like, you guys give me these images that are finalists, and it's like, what am I supposed to freaking say? They're a finalist for a reason, because they're already good. And so what would I do differently here? I don't know. Maybe moved her elbow back a little further to see her face a little bit more, but that's like such a minute detail, you know, because you can see her eyes, you can see her face. So that's it. I mean, you did another amazing image. I'm so glad you put this in. And now we're going to go to this one. Oh, man. I love this picture. You know what I love about it is I love the color. You know, I love the energy from the dancer. You know, like the movement that you feel in this passe. She just barely let go of her skirt. You know, and her hand still looks very natural, even though just a microsecond earlier she was holding that skirt, you know. And so this just looks very natural, and it's just very gorgeous.
This one didn't make it.
Really? But that tells you again how tough the competition is. It really didn't make it. Wow. Huh. That actually, and this is in the which category? Teen category. Teen category is kind of tough. There were a lot of really good images in the teen category. You know, like some of them are going to be good and they don't make it. That's just the way it is. So what would I have done differently so I could make it? You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because
There's like a touch of softness on her fingertips.
no, that wouldn't have stopped it.
Okay.
I think, you know, like, I don't know, because of the color of her skirt and the top of her Leo, you know, it doesn't call for any kind of like dramatic, you know, like edgy lighting. It calls for bright lighting, and that's exactly what you gave her. And I honestly think that this is one of those cases where if you submitted this again next year, I would lay money it would make a finalist, and who knows how far it would go, because it's all a different set of eyes that would be looking at it. So,
Okay.
you know, I don't really have a whole lot here. Okay, let's go on to, we have two more images here. And that's this one here. And this is an on location shoot. And right. Well, it's a teen dancer, but it's on location. And this one didn't make it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. And that's because you have a very gorgeous image of a dancer, like I'm guessing in like a patio balcony sort of thing,
Mhm.
like an enclosed patio.
Yeah.
And you know, and so when you do these shoots and you do them in a location setting, you have to ask yourself, is it really like adding to the image? Because like if you had this shot here and you did it in a studio, maybe with a darker background so you can really see her skirt like flying out, this probably would be a really good image, you know, especially with like more like edgy lighting. But you see what's happening here is the skirt is blending into the window behind it, and the setting in itself doesn't add anything to the shot at all. You have these lights over here in the upper right that are, you know, just there, and those lights are bright and they're saying, hey, look at me, you know what I mean? And we don't actually want you, you know, like you don't want the viewer to look at those lights. We could care less about them, but because they're bright, and especially up there, and there's 3 of them, they're saying, hey, look at me, you know? And so I would, you know, to me, it's like the location did not work for this image, but this image might have worked somewhere else. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, one more, and that's this one here. And this one did make it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now what killed the image, though.
It's her foot.
What's that?
Her
No,
foot?
no. It's T-Rex. When our final jury looked at this, that's the first thing they did is they looked at her right arm and they said, oh, T-Rex. And it's all because of a bad angle, you know, in terms of her back to her right arm. And so if her arm had extended out away from that, you know, like once you see that, it's like hard to unsee it because the arm just looks out of place. The hand just looks out of place. So I really, you know, yeah, you know, the foot could be a little bit better, but it's not bad. And you know, and it's an exquisite image, and the lighting is exquisite, you know. And so it's sometimes, and that's what it is. It's just one thing that will knock it out because the competition is, you know, really tough. But that's the beauty of the competition, and that's the beauty of being able to do something like this, is looking at this and just like it's so hard. Like, I don't know, like if I had shot this image and I looked at it in my camera, the back of the camera, I would have said, oh, this is really good. And then maybe a day later, I would have said, oh, look at her arm. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, and so, and some people never would even notice the arm like that, but, you know, but that was it. Aside from that, this is a really good image. All
Yeah.
right.
I liked, like, there was something about the flow of this one that I liked, but obviously her technique's not fabulous.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it was the curves in her spine with the curve of the dress or something. I don't know. There was something about this one that I
No,
really liked.
I completely agree. And it's just one of those images that was almost really, really good. You know what I mean? I agree. Like the foot is not quite as pointed as much as we'd like it to be, but you know, it's still a very good image.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Wendy, we're gonna take you down now. There we go. And let's see, no one else has to leave. Okay, good. Ash, we will have color backdrops, you know, at the conference again this year, but this time we're not going to have the floor messing it up like we did. Okay, so we're going to go with Carolyn here. Let's see if she's here. I think she said she wasn't going to be able to make it. And that seems right. Okay, so here's Carolyn, and so this is an image. It's in the teen category, and it's, you know, a beautiful toe raise. We got the action with the hair. You've got the light coming camera right, you know, a single camera because I don't see any shadows on the right side. And but you know, like here's one where the single camera didn't really work too much against it. To me, the fabric is just so small, so short that it didn't really add. Like I want to see, you know, I don't know, we're always big, right? And so I think in a photo competition, you really want to see if you're going to use silk, like a bigger silk or something like that, that really stands out. But to me, the one thing I look at with the silk fabric that she's using here is just that it's so short. And this is like a great thing to do with silk fabric because they can just raise up and the fabric just goes flying with them. It kind of like in a circular manner if you're using a longer fabric, especially. So this one is really beautiful. I would also consider like even shooting even a little bit more, you know, to the side. But you know, it's kind of like what my style is. What I shoot from a lower angle. I tend to shoot from a dancer's hips, and it looks like she's right at the hip or just above, you know, and then sometimes I go, you know, even lower. And the thing is, you know, Eric just asked the question, can you shoot from would you shoot from a lower angle? And the thing is like, I don't think there's any one way of doing things. So in other words, like sometimes you do something and it's like, well, let me just shoot from a lower angle. And suddenly you say, wow, this turned out really well, you know? To me, lower is always going to be better than higher, but sometimes you go all the way up and shoot down and that can be cool too. So it's sort of like, you know, I just think that we just practice and just try some things. Agreed, Brian. I like the photo. I just want to have a bigger fabric going on that one. And then here's another one. This is on location. A very interesting location. She's shooting, I'm going to say like mid-afternoon. So it's not exactly midday, but it's still like, it's one of your big challenges is, you know, dealing with the direct sunlight. And they've got some beautiful skirts here, different colors, but it works so well with the sunlight. You know, and this is just one of those places where like the setting really works. It's like a kind of like a gray drab setting. And then they have these colorful skirts that are just absolutely incredible. And so it's going to make the skirts really pop, you know, and just, you know, like just draw you in right to the dancer. Excuse me. So again, just a wonderful image. What would I do differently on this one? Tough to say. I think, to be honest, the only thing I might have done differently is shoot later in the day. And it's hard to say, like, you know, with the direction of the sun, how that would have impacted things because the sun is to camera left. And, you know, so I don't know how it would be affecting the buildings behind. You can see that first building in the upper left, it's got shadow already on the wall, like facing to the right. So, you know, it really depends, but, you know, and then again, too, like, I think the hard sunlight really adds to the color, really like brings out the color here. So it's hard to say. I think this is a really good image. And I don't know how much more you can, you know, like improve on it. It's beautiful. They probably did a heck of a job throwing this, you know, especially doing it together like that. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. And we have Alan Hubbard up now. Let's see. I saw that he had joined us. There he is. And here we go. Let's see if it's switched over. There he goes. Okay. Okay, Alan, if you can just at least turn on your mic, you can turn on your video too if you'd like, but your microphone if you're able to. Okay, so if you need to, you can chat with me as well. But we're going to go forward. There we go. His mic's on.
How's this? Okay.
Yeah, there you go, Alan. We got you now. Okay. So we have, this is a tough category. That's the on location category. And And you have two really good dancers here. Where are they from? What kind of, are they professional dancers or?
They're professional. They used to dance in the Philly Ballet, but now they're up in Alberta, Canada.
Okay, okay. Well, you can tell that they are quite good, you know, professional dancers, and you have a very good scene here. I'm going to say it's probably close to an hour before sunset. Does that be about right?
That's about right. Yes.
Yeah, and what's happening here is that you put them in a place where the lighting is a little bit splotchy. You know, in other words, his face, I guess it's being blocked by her. That's what it is. Okay, so the direct light is hitting the side of her, and then it comes across half of his face. So his nose is in shadow, but his upper right cheek and forehead is in light. And I just think, wow, this is a gorgeous image. That's the first thing that I would want to do is like either change my position so, you know, like his face is either fully in light or they're both fully in shadow or something like that. The other thing is you're shooting, you've kept a lot of the foreground, the grass in the foreground. And to me, that's a lot less interesting than the mountains behind them. And, you know, in keeping the foreground of the grass, we've actually lost the top of the mountain in the upper right-hand corner. And I think I just would have like tilted up just a little bit more to have less grass and more mountain on that one there.
That makes sense.
And I think the last thing I'm going to say is that, excuse me, if you could have just waited a little bit longer, you know, and obviously sometimes you can't, you know what I mean? I totally get that. But I think the lighting would have softened, you know, because of how bright the trees are versus the shade of the mountain behind them. And it would have like softened as the sun kept going down. And I think that would have, because to me, it's like the mountains are really going to be so interesting here. The trees are interesting, and I just want them to blend a little bit more together. But it's a great image of the two of them. They're posed really nicely for this. And I think those are the only things I would change, Alan.
Okay, thanks. Just a public service announcement. Be careful about putting a ballerina on a golf course because they can leave some nasty marks.
I hear you. All right. Thanks very much. Okay, we're going to go down, and now we're going to go to Sam Fink. I'm going to try and go through this quickly because I know I'm already over an hour, and I'm sorry about those of you who are coming at the end. I'm going to try and give you as much time as I can, but I want to be fair to everybody. Okay, so Sam, here we are. And let's take a look. If you can turn your microphone on, at least, there you go. Your microphone is on. How you doing, Sam?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Where are you located at?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So we've got a rooftop shot here. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right. This is really interesting. Like the boots, and I'm guessing it was because it was cold, or because they're on the roof, or they wanted that to be part of the look.
It was part of the look. So I actually directed a dance film, and then we did a photo shoot afterwards. So it was part of the costuming.
A dance film. What's is it under like Sam Fink, or what is it under?
It would be under Sam Fink. Yeah.
Okay, because somebody in the St. Louis area did this dance video of these dancers. There's a whole like company of dancers. It's not a huge company, but they were in like a location like that, but inside like a warehouse or something. Oh my God, it was amazing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
cool.
Okay, enough on that. Okay, so so now what do we do? Did this one make finalist?
It did not.
Okay, and it's kind of like to be honest, like I just wonder, like with the outfit that they're wearing, did the boot throw the jury off a little bit
Mhm.
on that or not. And let's see, that's, to be honest, I don't know what else, because they're all like in a very good position, you know. The lighting, the lighting coming from behind them does a really good job of like rimming them and like separating them from the background, you know.
Yeah.
Even with the like their boots, especially in the girl in the center and the one on the right, it does a really good job of like creating an edge around it. And so I think the biggest challenge that you had in this one is that you're in a really tough category, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah.
I honestly don't know what I would have done differently. The only thing is sometimes people look at it and they'll just say, what about these boots? Like,
Mhm.
and somebody may, be put off by them or, whatever, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying, like, one year something might do really well and another year maybe, not so well, so
For
who's
sure.
to say on that?
Yeah.
So that's it, like, honestly, this is a really good image. I'm sure they love it. And that's about it. Do you have any questions?
No, I just was looking forward to getting feedback and I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks so much, Sam. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move on now over to Danny Fain. And let's see if Danny is here. I don't see him. Is that correct? Okay, I don't see him. I know this image made honorable mention in the studio category. And as you know, in the studio category, it's very, very, very tough. And so with this image here, I think the main thing that I would be focused on is that I don't really see the pop, of them. Their poses are very nice. Everything is good there. I think the lighting could just just give them just a little bit more pop. It's almost like it's a little bit more gray monochrome. And the other part of it too could be the black and white conversion, because like I'm telling you, there are people who do black and white all the time, and when I look at their work, it's like, wow, I don't even know how you're able to do that, because you can give me the same image and I can't do that to it. And so it may be part of like his post-processing with changing it to a black and white conversion. And then you also have the shadow on the boy's face. And that may be, part of it as well. But aside from that, this is a very good image. And I think it was just those things right there, and being in a really tough category. Okay, we have one last one, and that is Brian. And I saw he was in there. There he is. Okay, gonna pull up Brian, and hopefully he'll be on here now. Yeah, there he is. Okay, Brian, if you can at least turn on your microphone. Feel free to turn on your video too if you'd like.
Hello. Yes,
Hey there, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Okay. So let's start with this image first. Did this make a finalist?
No, it did not. The ones that I just submitted did not make finalist.
Okay. Was this in the studio category?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So this is a low-key shot, and it's a gorgeous image. I almost feel like this would have done better in fine art than studio, just because it's so low-key, and because this is a really interesting image. He's doing a really interesting dance pose here, and the lighting is also really interesting. The thing about fine art is that even though this is studio, it's still fine art. Much of what we do is fine art. is that it's really hard to say, you know, like who's to say whether something is really good or not. I think if anything could have been improved, it's that, you know, like we could have like lit him so we can see the back of his body form, because like his back kind of like blends into the darkness behind him. And so, but then again, you know, another person would say, oh my God, that would take away from this, you know? So it's, you know, that's the beauty of photography. It's so subjective. Honestly, I really love this image. And I honestly think that it might have done better in fine art. You may want to consider that for next year.
Got it. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, this one here. And this one, is this in studio?
This was the studio shot too.
Yeah, and this one did not make finalists either, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so here I can help you. Number one, he's, you know, his expression is not great. It's almost like he has some dead eyes looking at the camera. And you know, like I'm not sure what's going on with his expression. He's got a hand coming up out of his head, and that just does not work at all for you know, like this image.
Okay. Got
You
it.
know, his form is really good, obviously, and I think honestly, if he could maybe just lifted his arm up a little bit so it wasn't just the hand coming out of his head, and then just having him give expression to the shot. You know, like the thing is, if you go to a professional dance company and watch them perform, you see them not only like giving great technique, but you watch their expressions and their body language, they're acting, you know, like it's really coming across that they're not just dancing, they're embodying a character. And this person, you know, I don't think he's in character right now. And I think that if he had done the same move and he had done something with an expression, you know, and he just lifted that right arm up, I think it would have taken this image to a whole nother level.
I agree. That was a good point.
Yep. Okay, a little bit of a different story on this one, isn't it? This one did make finalists, correct?
This one didn't make finalists this year.
Really? Wow. Okay, well, that's a little bit surprising, because this is a gorgeous image. And I think you know, again, it's down to it being in a tough category. Was this in the teen category?
This was probably studio too.
Studio as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But studio was insanely tough this year. So I think that if I made any difference to this image, it would have been two things. One, I would have tried to like add some light to her top of her head, just because her hair kind of blends into the dark background. Okay. And then probably even more importantly is her hands, because her hands draw attention. You know, it's kind of like we see this beautiful tutu, and then we see her hands, and you can see her hands are not doing the same thing. And I think they should be like mirroring each other. And so those are the two things I see about that. I'm kind of, you know, like if another year, this might have made finalists just on its own, but, you know, I think those would be the two things that might have held it back, and more so the hands than the light on the head. I think that the light on the head is just something I, you know, probably would think of, but the hands, you know, I think because they're right there, you know, like they're right there in the middle. It's the first thing you look at, even before the tutu, I think, is and so the hands have to like be a little bit more elegant there.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And then we have, this is our final image of this critique. I'm with you, James. And this is just a gorgeous picture. I like how you post-process this. You know, I don't know if you were thinking it, but this looks like going back 100 years or something like that, you know, and and just getting this like it's a fine art image to me, if you will.
Yeah, this was actually post-processed in Levente, like if you look at like Valle
Yeah,
or Levente. So
yeah.
I took a class from him and I kind of processed it like that. And so,
Uh-huh.
because I got this feel of it from that.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. Which category was this in?
You know what? This was in studio, and that was probably what killed it.
This was
It
in
was in studio
studio?
because it was a photo studio that I took this at, and so I
Oh,
figured, oh
okay.
well, put it in studio. But that was probably a bad choice.
Yeah, again, that was such a tough category this year. This is a kind of, I mean, even if you did it in what was essentially a photo studio, most of this looks like it was natural lighting. And so to me, this could be still like an on location shot. You could even say it's going to be a fine art image, especially with the editing that you did to it. Right. Yeah, I know it is a real location, right? I'm with you. Oh, you're talking to Len, I get it. But this is a gorgeous image. Differences I would have made. I don't know. Like there's so many things where you can say, would this really have improved it? And maybe yes, maybe no. I like the angle that you're at because you can see the book. But she has a book, but she's looking up, like she's distracted by something, or just like looking out the window, if you will. And so then what's the point of the book, maybe?
Maybe she's contemplating on the book. She has an
Maybe,
idea and
yeah,
she read
it,
something.
it could very well be, but like I'm just trying to think about ways that, like others might look at it, so like maybe change the angle of her feet so you can see her feet better, because this is a dance competition, and part of that is we want to see the dance element of it. We can still see it. We can see a beautiful point that she has going on there. So that's not absolutely critical. I think this is a beautiful image, and I think that maybe also just the fact that it's just that her legs are flat out and pointed. Maybe it's not dancey enough. That's the only thing that I'm thinking of, because this is just, to me, this is a beautiful, to me, a fine art portrait, or on location portrait. And it's gorgeous. The lighting is gorgeous. I really love the, like the effect that you put onto it, the Levente effect. To me, it's just really beautiful. Yeah, I know. I agree with Lynn. The tones are fabulous. That's what I'm talking about. And it just adds to that artistic feel of it. You know what I mean? I honestly think that this might have done better again in fine art, possibly location, but in fine art, but studio, man, that was a tough one this year. All right. Well, I hope that helps, Brian.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody, especially all of you who submitted images for us to talk about, and that your willingness to allow us to do it, here with an audience. I think that was amazing that you're willing to do that, because we here we go, stop the share. Okay, so because that was what this was all about, and I think a lot of people can learn from this, and I like seeing that. I like that we share our images and kind of break them down, but again, you have to be careful about who's like critiquing your images and what they're saying about them, because sometimes they're obviously not right, just like I might not be right today with what I had to say. Hopefully some things I said struck home and was helpful, but that it doesn't mean that I'm right about like the improvements that I may have suggested. The beautiful thing is that we just go out there and we try different things. It was just like somebody saying, I think Eric said it, would you shoot it from a different angle? And to me, that's what we need to do more of is like shoot it from a different angle, do the lights, you know, at a different angle, higher, lower, this over here, over there, and just, you know, keep trying new things. It's just like Brian with this last image that we saw, you know, that's totally different from what I've seen, you know, of a lot of his other work, you know, and the more we, you know, just try different things, you know, we'll come up with more beautiful images, you know. I mean, that's what it's all about, just doing something different, you know. Going back to whose image was it, in the water? Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. You know, and you just do different things. So okay, thank you guys very much, and don't forget our conference is coming up in just 2 months. So if you're not registered yet, we actually have a $100 coupon code for, you know, to get $100 off the full registration fee. You can use FB Friends for that, or here it's Comp 100. We're trying to like keep those together. So if you use this one, it's Comp 100. We're going to be announcing the top 15 in some categories, top 10 in some other categories, you know, at the conference this year. And that's always fun. We're going to be on Instagram Live when we do it. There's some crazy good images. Thanks so much for everybody being on there, and we'll see you soon.